Hi, this is Deborah Atkinson, the author of You Still Got It, Girl, the After 50 Fitness Formula for Women. And if I caught you soon enough, you haven't bought the Halloween candy yet, I'm going to make one last plea for not buying the candy and buying some alternative instead. And I don't mean turn off the lights and don't be home. I mean pencils, crayons, little notepads, erasers, some kind of extra toy or treat or money that children enjoy that doesn't contribute to the sugar and toxic environment that sugar causes. And I know you're thinking, why not? They're kids. Potentially you're thinking they need the energy, they can handle it, they're fine. But it's not so fine. They don't live in the same environment that you and I grew up in. They actually don't need the sugar, and sugar plus other things that are inside the candy that we tend to give out, the artificial flavors, the artificial colors, as well as quote-unquote natural flavors and colors, which just means they don't want to and don't have to tell you, as long as they list it that way, what it really is, have been attributed to ADD and things that we medicate for, behavioral issues. So if you've been a parent who has to deal with that, you totally understand. And if you haven't, it is hard to understand, but we might be able to prevent a lot of issues in behavior just by changing the diet of children. It's not just candy, unfortunately, but that's the holiday that we have coming up. It's also in cookies and crackers and sugars and taco seasonings with artificial flavors. So any of those things we're feeding to our kids come up like toxins, and they affect us somehow, and they affect children in smaller bodies much more. So think of the alternative. That's number one. Number two, if you do go the candy route and you're still determined you're going to do that, try to go the hard candy route, because children are a little bit less drawn to it, number one, than a chewy, gooey kind of food. It's not going to be quite as detrimental for their teeth in that it doesn't stick. It's not quite as sticky in there, so it's not quite as bad. But more often than not, kids will abandon a hard sucker before they finish it. So they're not quite consuming as much sugar as they would otherwise. So in the sticky, gooey kinds of treats, there are also other things that we don't want them to get that we can avoid if you just go with a hard candy. So be careful with that, with the age of the children that are knocking at your door, and try money. That always works.